lest you get beat up, bullied, and dunked on. We gon' leave you beat up, bullied, and dunked on. We said we only rock with Mavericks. If you a clone, then step off the canvas, lest you get beat up, bullied, and dunked on. We gon' leave you beat up, bullied, and dunked on. We said we only rock with Mavericks. If you a clone, then step off the canvas.
Hello and welcome to episode 2, season 20 of The Box Score. I'm your host, Noah Berkowitz, and we're live. So we've got some special things planned for you. I'll be updating you throughout the night on the score of Game 4 of the World Series as it happens, so you won't miss a thing. But before we get there, we're going to kick off the episode with some breaking news in the NBA. A betting scandal has rocked the league, leading to the arrest of Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier and NBA Hall of Famer and Portland Trail Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups. With me to give some background and the latest updates on the situation is our correspondent, Rico Brill. Rico, welcome to the show.
Hey, it's great to be here, Noah. Thanks for having me. Yeah, this story broke on Thursday, October 23rd, last week. It's a giant deal. It's shaken up the entire sports world. And there's two main aspects to it. There's an underground poker ring led by Chauncey Billups, or he's the main one involved.
Right.
And he's, as you said, the head coach of, or was the head coach of the Trailblazers. Right. And then there's a player betting scandal, which the main person involved is Terry Rozier of the Heat. With Rozier, it's more of your classic sports giving away information, telling people who's not playing, and then people would bet the unders.
Right.
And this has been an investigation going on since 2019. It's just been concluded, and the other day the FBI announced all these things. And on the other side, with Chauncey Billups, it's a poker ring with a mafia family called the Gambino family. There's tons of millions of dollars involved, and these people would come and play because they could play with Chauncey Billups, and the mafia was taking advantage of that.
So I heard that Chauncey Billups was using X-ray glasses. Yeah. I mean, this felt like crazy a high-tech operation.
Yeah, crazy technology. They're really, really taking advantage of these people, and it's just, it just makes you wonder, what are you doing as the head coach of a team playing with your career like that? And another angle that I like to think about, we are in an era now where sports gambling is promoted more than ever.
Right.
And by the leagues and by all the streaming services, all the people providing.
I mean, every commercial.
Yeah. So are the leagues at fault at all for this?
I mean, I think that at some point there has to be a level of accountability. I think that Adam Silver addressed it a little bit in the statement that he came out with, but he's deflecting a lot of that off of the NBA onto the betting companies themselves. Do you think that Adam Silver is not taking enough blame for the NBA promoting the gambling themselves?
I mean, from a PR perspective, he's obviously not going to, but I think there is some accountability that does need to be taken by these leagues for the impact that they're having. This is a real issue that's impacting the youth. So this is going to be an issue in the league for lots of time to come in the future. And I think we're going to see more and more of this as it goes on. And I think some change has to be accomplished in order for this to stop.
Right, and then this is coming off the back of, last season, Jontay Porter was arrested and banned from the NBA for life for betting. Allegedly, he has a podcast coming out with his brother, Michael Porter Jr., who plays for the Brooklyn Nets. But the last thing I'm going to ask you before we move on is where do you go from here? Because the investigation obviously has been going on for so long. What do we think we're going to see next?
I think we're going to see a real example made of these players and participants. I think the league is going to try really hard to make this go under the rug. It's the beginning of the season. They've had good numbers so far, and they don't want this to affect it. It's getting them some attention. I think they want to wipe this under the rug and also make an example of these players. It's probably not going to be the end, and there's probably a lot more information that's going to come out about this as it goes on, and more people will be involved. I think they've got to get this out of the way, though. Yeah.
All right, Rico, I appreciate it. We're going to keep a close eye on that quickly evolving situation. But we're going to head to the World Series after last night's ridiculous 18-inning marathon. Under the lights in LA, the stars were shining in the sky and also on the field. But who has really been the major power players in the series so far? Joining me to discuss are Danny O'Toole and Rico Brill once more. Danny, we're going to start with you. Who's been in the driver's seat this series?
Thank you for having me on today, Noah. Really, what came down to it this series has been Shohei Ohtani. He's been stepping it up these playoffs, and especially last night, he got on base 9 times.
Tied for the MLB record.
That is the MLB record in a postseason, one shy of in postseason or regular season.
Yeah.
4 walks, or 5
intentional walks.
5 walks, 4 intentional.
Right.
4 extra base hits, 2 home runs.
I mean, he was
two
ridiculous.
Doubles. Nobody is playing like Shohei Ohtani is right now, on the mound or in the batter's box. He is the best player of our generation.
There was a time during the game where the announcers were having a conversation about whether they were going to throw Shohei in there because, at that point we were thinking maybe position players are going to come in and pitch. I mean, you get to 18, all of a sudden Yamamoto starts warming up. I mean, there's so many different power players. I mean, but Shohei Ohtani obviously has been the guy.
It wouldn't be a common or uncommon scene to see the next starter to come into a game in that sort of situation. Going back to 2018, that was the last time we saw an 18-inning game in the World Series. It was played between the Red Sox and the Dodgers.
In the same stadium.
Same stadium, same game. It was Game 3. And funny enough, it was the same national anthem singer, Brad Paisley.
Really?
So
Ridiculous.
the stars were just aligning. It was the same count. Bottom of the 18th inning, 3-2 count, no outs, nobody on base, and it was a solo home run. This year, it was Freddie Freeman to do it. Last year's World Series MVP.
And what a moment from Freddie Freeman. I mean, it was just ridiculous. You couldn't have scripted it any better. Earlier in the game, thought he had hit it out beforehand. Then all of a sudden, he's back up to the mound. And what about that moment with Clayton Kershaw? I mean, he comes out, bases
Incredible.
loaded.
I mean, to have a guy like that who's just dominated this era, probably the most dominant pitcher of our generation, I would say, to come in, probably pitched his last time ever.
Especially for a guy who's
bases
he's had a lot of struggles in the postseason before.
And it's been his calling card. He's been the playoff choker.
For him to come in, you get out of that bases loaded jam, I feel like that's the perfect way to send off your career.
I know, illustrious career. I mean, first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the best pitchers to have ever played.
There were so many storylines to take away from last night. If you love baseball, last night was just the best staying up till 3 a.m. you could ever experience on the East Coast.
What's the saying? How can you not be romantic
about
baseball?
And I mean, you have Ohtani getting on base 9 times.
Right.
You have Yamamoto almost coming into the game at the end. Can we talk about that for a second? I can't believe that he volunteered to do that after pitching a complete game.
A complete game.
And in the last game, he did it too.
Because as you said, it was going to come to having to put a position player in. You have Will Klein come in for 4 innings.
And played unbelievable.
1 hit. This guy wasn't on the playoff roster for most of the playoffs.
He had never pitched more than 30-something pitches. Pitched
more than
71, 72
4
pitches?
innings, 1 hit. Unbelievable, just completely taking the game over with a smile on his face, and to have it come down to the Freeman walk-off. He's got to be the most likable guy in the sport. And last year in the playoffs, he did it, and he just showed up again.
If there's any time for your best players to put on your best performances, or any player to put on your best performance, it is in the postseason, and it is in the World Series.
The other thing we have to take away from this Ohtani performance, Schneider and the coach of the Braves, the manager of the Braves yesterday, the Blue Jays, said that we might not see them really pitch to Ohtani for the rest of the series.
And you know what?
That's insane.
I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't either.
You're giving him the Barry Bonds treatment.
But what it does, we were talking about how Vladimir Guerrero's impact before this, he's been a little cold in this series. But before this,
he still had an incredible postseason. I talked about it on the last episode.
He's batting 136 in the series, so it is definitely
it's cooled off.
Yeah, it's cooled off. The impact that a hitter like that has on the rest of the lineup, and that's what I thought we had seen the whole time through the Blue Jays postseason. Now we're seeing it with Ohtani. Everyone else is getting a boost. They have to pitch to everyone else, and if you can't walk Ohtani, you can't pitch to him, so it's just another guy on base for everyone else.
I want to ask both of you, is that game last night, I think that was such a momentum swinger. Do you think because the Dodgers, you're the Blue Jays, you're fighting tooth and nail, and then you lose, is that just like a deflator for the rest of the series?
Absolutely, especially with the last time this happened with the Dodgers back in 2018, that was the first game they won the series.
Yeah.
This time, that's the second game they've won. The Dodgers have all of the momentum in the world.
Yeah, they do.
If they can come out tonight and they can shell Shane Bieber like he did, what happened to him in Game 7 of the ALCS, he didn't get out of the 4th inning. If you can do that again, the Dodgers are going to win, and we're even looking at a gentleman's sweep here.
I'd actually argue that there's less momentum on the Dodgers side than you would think, because you get in this game, you're up till 3 a.m., you can kind of just go right into the next game if you're the Blue Jays, kind of not go through all your batting practice, do all your routines. You can kind of just continue the momentum. You're in a state now where it's like, I don't know if you've ever pulled an all-nighter before a test or something.
Yeah.
You're not really thinking, you're kind of just running on fumes.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel like the Blue Jays are going to do tonight.
Honestly, that's kind of how I felt watching the game and waking up to do this episode. Danny, Rico, thank you very much. Now, we're going to swing it to the triple monitor to talk some football, because about halfway through the season, it's time to send home some report cards. We're going to be grading players, teams, coaches around the league to see if they have room for improvement or if they're getting straight A's. With me is Everest Leach, Zack Jewel, and Jolm. So guys, I'm going to read off what I want a grade for, and you're going to grade it. Simple concept. I think it sounds good. We're going to go starting with the Packers defense.
Thank you, Noah. Packers defense is an interesting one, and I think, Jolm, I know you're a Packers guy, so I might look to you to persuade me to come up on this one a little bit. I'm going to go B+ as of where we are right now. I think they were dominant early. They've had great stretches, but that Cowboys game was rough. You give up 40 points. They don't even have CeeDee Lamb playing in that game. They're currently 6th in yards per game, pretty good. 15th in passing yards per game, so middle of the pack. 10th in points per game. I think that lands them around a B+. I think Micah's been good, maybe not transcendent as some of us were thinking, but that's kind of where I have them.
Well, and Everest, before I let them get to what they're saying, I think that B+ is even being a little favorable considering how strong they started and where we're at this point.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I had the Packers defense at a B, so a little bit worse than Everest, but still, like, respectable. Like you were saying, 6th in yards per game and 10th in points per game.
Pretty good.
It's pretty good. It's above average, you know. But when you have a guy come to your team like Micah Parsons, you're kind of thinking that your defense is going to be best in the league, especially when they started off so strong.
I mean, I have the Packers at around an A- to A range. So.
Okay, Jolm,
Okay.
I understand you're the Packers fan.
Because, like, for me, what are the A+ teams y'all would say have A+ defenses in the NFL this season?
The Falcons, I think, have played better than the Packers.
I mean, that 34-point
Yeah,
loss
but
is
other
all.
than that,
yeah,
they've
besides
been
that, I
great.
think
The
the
Packers gave up
Jaguars.
40.
I think the Broncos have been.
The Broncos gave up 52 points to the Detroit Lions. Not
The Detroit Lions. They
Not-
kick everybody, man.
No, that was the.
Tell me-
that was the Giants. They gave up 30 points to the New York
Hey,
Giants.
tell me why you're giving them an A- then.
I'm giving them an A- because you got to compare it to last year. I mean, they're increasing.
Sure.
There's the secondary, not even just the pass rush game. The secondary is a lot better. They're allowing less yards per completion. They're allowing less completions. They're breaking up more passes. And I mean, like, you say Micah Parsons has been like transcendent.
He hasn't.
What more do you want from Micah Parsons? I mean, he's played 7 games. He's had 6.5 sacks. I mean, do you want, like, to put up Myles Garrett numbers? You want him to have 10 sacks?
Maybe, but I see your point. That's pretty
Myles
good.
Garrett putting up ridiculous numbers. I mean, video game numbers. I feel like originally that is what Packers fans were trying to expect. But, Jolm, in your defense, what I'm going to point out is the fact that Micah Parsons has absolutely been freeing up the rest of the defensive linemen for the Packers defense.
Exactly what I was going to say. I mean, Rashawn Gary has 7.5 sacks. He was the NFL sack leader for like 4 weeks. And not even just like the pass rush. He's elevating the secondary. Keyshawn Nixon's having a career year. I mean, as a Packers fan, I wasn't too big on Keyshawn Nixon. I'll tell you that much. I have some thoughts about Keyshawn Nixon I don't think I could say on this show. But I mean, he's having the best year of his life. He's playing some of the best football of his life.
go.
The secondary's been elite this season. I think the Packers defense deserves an A- or an A.
All right. Next person, we're going to go Daniel Jones, Zach's very own favorite player.
Oh, yeah. Let's do this one. Let's move a little bit quicker because, I mean, he's an A+ for me. I mean, this story is unbelievable. I've loved watching him this year, and I think he could fall off. I think that's in the cards. But there's been nothing to prove that he will so far this season. He's played great. He's played efficient, 71% completion, 13 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, adding some value on the ground as well. You can't knock him. He's having the Jared Goff Lions season.
I mean, for sure. For someone who's not a huge Daniel Jones supporter.
Oh, really?
Okay, hold on. You're a huge Daniel Jones hater.
Okay, potentially. I'm still going to give him an A+ for now. Okay.
There we go.
For now.
There we go.
I have to give credit where credit's due, okay? They have the #1 offense in the league. However, 10.5 points per game is scored by Jonathan Taylor. So you're going to give some credit to their run game, right? And they just had their first ever Daniel Jones had his first game with 3 touchdowns in the Colts. So I'm going to give him an A+, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I agree with Everest. Daniel Jones has to be an A+. Because, I mean,
Finish it off.
Wow.
you tell anybody that Daniel Jones was going to lead the Colts to 7-1 last year, they would have looked at you like you were speaking Chinese. So
Yeah.
it just has to be an A+.
There we go.
Yeah, I mean, what a career resurgence from Daniel Jones. MVP candidate, probably the #1 candidate for comeback player of the year. We're going to go one more, though. Everest, this one's a little bit for you. The Eagles coaching staff.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Noah. I'm going to go with a B. I think there's been some clear struggles, especially when you look at offensive coordinating and O-line. That struggled way more than usual. But the special teams has been good, and I think you've got to get them credit for working through the turbulence that we've seen in the middle stretch so far this season. I feel like they've righted the ship. I do think Nick Sirianni, whatever he's doing as a connector, it works. It works in Philly. He has that team kind of on an even keel right now. The offense is looking better. Still haven't loved it, but I'd give him a B.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's looking a lot better than it was in the beginning of the season. I'm liking how Jalen Hurts is playing. I'm like how their receivers playing.
You're liking how who's playing?
Jalen Hurts, yeah, we get it.
Wow.
However, I'm still a little concerned with, like you're saying, the offensive line and the run game. I mean, Saquon's not, besides the game that he just had, it's not having a great year. I'm going to give him a B+. Jolm, what are you thinking?
I'm going to go with the Eagles at a B-, just because, one, you have to give them credit for their strong start to the year and the fact that they are still sitting at 6-2. But it's just, they were off the Super Bowl. They still had most of their team. They were still expected to be like elite, maybe even some would argue undefeated at this point in the year. So I can only give them a B- at this point because they're not like living up to expectations.
Listen, guys, I appreciate it. I think my mom would have been proud with the Daniel Jones grade. I wonder how Daniel Jones' mom would feel if she knew that we all gave him A+. But Everest, Zack, Jolm, thank you. We're going to head to our first commercial break of the show. But before we do, don't forget, it's our 10-year anniversary, which means we have messages from hosts of Seasons Gone By. Tonight you'll be hearing from Sam Benson-Smith. But when we come back, I'll give you an update on Game 4 of the World Series, and we're going to be talking about Liverpool's recent collapse. We'll be right back.
How's it going, the box score faithful? I'm Sam Benson-Smith, the second ever host of the box score. I took over for Harris Rubenstein, one of the creators, co-creators of the show, along with Jack Ross and Tom Little in season 3. I just looked back at a promo that we made to launch the season that I completely forgot about, which was me eulogizing Tom, Jack, and Harris at a funeral service because I told the cast and crew that they died because I thought it would be easier on them, and then they walk in and say, Sam, we talked about this, like, why did you do this? They ended up just going to Emerson, Los Angeles. Very grateful for my time at the box score. I had a lot of fun with Richard Fielko and Song Park were my co-EPs, and my AP was Creighton Dorfman. Just saw him a few weeks ago.
All right, I was like,
All right, come back in 10 seconds. Ready, camera 1. Camera 1, you wide shot of the entire thing, and in 3, 2, 1, take. Tell them cue.
Welcome back to Emerson College. Emerson
Camera
trails
4, get a shot of the players moving across the court.
10 seconds left. Emerson trails by 1 point. As
Camera 2, close on the person shooting.
Thanks, Joe. With 10 seconds left, Emerson is hoping to pull away and score this big.
Camera 1, gonna close the follow them over.
Emerson trails WPI 10 points. 10 seconds left. Emerson trails by 1 point as the team finishes their timeout.
Camera 1, close up on number 33.
Thanks, Joe. With 10 seconds left, Emerson is hoping to pull away.
Follow the ball, follow the ball.
welcome back to the box score. We've got a quick score update for you. It's the bottom of the first. Ohtani pitching, struck out Vladdy Jr. in the first inning. Bieber pitching now, but no updates on the scoreboard as of yet. We'll get those to you as soon as we can, but enough of baseball. We're heading back to the hardwood to discuss a few players who could be in line to an MVP for the first time in their careers. That is, if they can beat out SGA and Jokic, yada, yada, yada. With me to plead their case are Zack Jewel, Camila Mancur, and Rico Brill. Zack, let's get started. What you got?
You know, I got Anthony Edwards.
Okay.
24 years old,
Yes.
entering his prime. Last year, the year before that, you could say that the Timberwolves weren't really focusing to build the team directly around Ant. I think this is the year that they really took all their pieces, put them together, and now have a team that is going to make Ant the most successful player in the league and win MVP.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. We got Julius Randle it's his second year of being the secondary ball handler.
Yeah.
He's going to step into that role good.
Played great last season.
Played great last season. Mike Conley is finally off the court.
Yeah.
He's a little old. I think it was a good idea.
Time to
Just
usher
a
him
little.
away.
Father time's kind of catching up. We got
Yeah.
Dante DiVincenzo in now as point guard. I think that's going to give Ant a little more opportunity to be the primary ball handler and take the ball up the court. I think that's going to help the case. And overall, I think that a fourth-year connection with Gobert is going to help. And the Timberwolves are in a good situation in the West. I know it's a competitive West, but only 2 MVPs in the last 40 years have came from a team that's lower than the 3rd seed. And I think that the Timberwolves can and will be a top 3 seed.
I don't think that's ridiculous to say that, nor do I think that Anthony Edwards is the worst shout out of players that I think we're all going to talk about. But I do have the question, obviously, if the Timberwolves aren't a top 3 seed, which is possible, it's a stacked West, is Ant still going to play well enough to warrant a first-time MVP?
I mean, honestly, I think that there's a pretty good chance that if you're not a top 3 seed, you should still be in the talks. I mean, we've seen guys in the past get in the talks for MVP. Do I know? Do I think that he's really going to get the credit that he deserves if he's not a top 3 seed? I'm not sure.
All right, we're gonna move on. I appreciate the sentiment behind Ant, but Camila, I think you have the favorite out of everyone.
Probably. I probably
Who do you have?
So I have Victor Wembanyama.
All right. Hot take.
Wemby, such a hot take. This man, 7-footer, should not be moving the way he is at all.
Not at all.
This guy is doing 360 layups, crossovers behind his back, moving like Steph Curry at 7 foot, shooting like crazy. He's doing a 60, 36, 80 split at his height, which is insane.
Ridiculous.
31 points, 13 rebounds, 4 blocks. Those are his averages for now, by the way.
He had 9 blocks the other night.
Exactly. And the Spurs are 4-0. It does not get better than that. If we're talking about seeding, then the Spurs so far have a good chance at being in the top 5, top 3 seeds in the West, even though it's stacked. They have a good squad around Wemby. I think it's not completely unbalanced. I think he's not the only one carrying this team. They have good depth. They have good coaching. I think the Spurs can go far this year, and that'll definitely be strong for Wemby's case.
What I'm going to bring up, obviously, is similar to what I was saying to Zach. We have a lot of people that we think, all right, maybe the Spurs are not going to be as good as they are starting off. I mean, they've started hot, but if Wemby is able to carry this team to a top three seed in this unbelievable Western Conference with the numbers that he's putting up, I mean, he looks ridiculous.
Yes, it's ridiculous what he's doing. I think they might not be able to make the Western Conference, but
the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, Western Conference, but at least second round.
Okay.
I think they can make that, and I think if they make the second round, Wemby's got that MVP.
All right, we're gonna move on to our final player, Rico. Who do you have?
I'm going to go to LA with Luka Doncic.
All right.
And I'm going to take a different angle. I think it's too early to tell how good any of these teams are going to be. I think any of them could be very bad or very good. Luka, though, is going to have to put this Lakers team completely on his back. I see him having a 2017-18 James Harden season. He's averaging through 2 games, granted, 46, 11, and 8.
Ridiculous.
62% shooting. He's incredible.
It's a historic start.
And I think the NBA has to give him an MVP before Wembanyama wins it for the next 7 years in a row.
Really?
They're not gonna. They have to give him a shot before. It's only Wemby's 3rd year. You can still kind of get away with not giving it to him this year.
You're giving the voter
fatigue argument, and I think it's Wemby's league. This is Luka's last chance. I think they give it to him this year.
Right, the window is closed.
Wemby's league.
Yeah. All right. Wow.
It will be soon.
How crazy to say that this is Wemby's league.
You don't watch. His highlights are the first
man
thing
is
you
an
see every
alien.
time you open it.
Exactly.
It's
All
his league.
Listen,
I'm saying it.
I could talk about this all day. Thank you. We're going to head across the pond now, though, to talk about the current implosion happening in Liverpool. 4 straight league losses and no sign of improvement at Anfield. With me to talk about what could possibly be going on is Cam Veal and Jolm Adams. Guys?
Well, first of all, I don't know about you, Jolm, but I'm very, very happy with Liverpool. I think Slot is doing a great job, honestly. And you can see here on the screen a 2-1 loss to Crystal Palace, a 2-1 loss to Chelsea, a 2-1 loss to Man United, and a 3-2 loss to Brentford. That was sort of the nail in the coffin for them. I don't know if spending $600 million on a transfer window and not knowing how to utilize your players is really going to help out the team. I don't know what you think, Jolm, but we're both pretty much Liverpool haters. So.
Yeah, I love seeing the downfall of Liverpool recently, but I feel like Slot kind of broke Klopp's philosophy. Klopp didn't like to spend a lot of money on players, and Slot spent all this money in the transfer. He didn't find a Luis Diaz replacement who was so critical to Liverpool's title success last season. And not only that, he brought in 2 players who don't fit into his system at all. Slot likes to play a lot out wide, get the players involved, but both Wirtz and Isak like to play up in the central. And even the game Wirtz did have in the Champions League against Frankfurt, where he had a good game, he was more so fitting into that mold that Slot actually wants, and that's just not what we've seen from him outside of that game this season so far.
Yeah, I mean, you have a 33-year-old Mohamed Salah who's a great player. He's not as fast as he used to be, and he's playing on the wing. You have the high middle press, which I think is what he's kind of going for, whereas Klopp tried to play it through the central midfield. And Wirtz is a player that you have to give space, and he can't really play that high up. And you have Alexander Isak, who is a very pure goal scorer, but he's not really given the space to make those plays. And Van Dijk is also washed, and he's not as good as William Saliba, which is also, the defending is not quite there. I saw a statistic, they've had, I think it was around 156 long balls played over them. So the middle press isn't really working for them. And they changed it up against Frankfurt and they won, and then they changed it back and domestically have lost 4 in a row. I think it's fair to say their title hopes are basically over, especially with the amazing charge that Arsenal is making, not to knock on wood or anything. But I think Arsenal is doing a great job of utilizing their transfer players and filling the holes that they need, whereas Liverpool saw a sinking ship and sort of just plugged putty in there, not knowing that the putty would melt in the water. So I don't really know what to do from here. If I'm Arne Slot, if I'm in Arne Slot's body right now, I'm keeping everything exactly the same, just doing whatever, stealing points from Tottenham when needed, and then just leaving it like that. I don't know. What would you do if you were Slot?
I know you're an Arsenal fan, and you want them to see them finally win the league, so you want Slot to just keep playing how he's playing and selecting lineups like he's off FIFA overalls. But how I think Slot can still bring Liverpool back into this title race is start Hugo Ekitike. I mean, he's been playing like a beast. Isak.
I mean, he's good, but he's like, you do have to change the tactics at the ground in the middle because
Hugo Ekitike fits Slot's tactics.
I don't know.
And you have to, like, Wirtz has to play against, like he plays Frankfurt. Wirtz, he loves to show up against German clubs.
They're not like actually playing a good offensive scheme. Like when you have someone who can create in the middle, like Wirtz, whereas Mendy is a lot better than that as well. Not to toot my own horn, I just think that this Liverpool team is going to be one of the worst we've seen in a long time, and there's no point in even discussing them after this point unless they lose another 4 in a row. I know, Noah, you're a Liverpool fan, so kind of sucks to be you, and I feel like we should all point and laugh, but, I'm excited to see how this Premier League season goes. Noah, let's give it back to you.
There's no need for the shots. It's hard enough already. Listen, we'll see if they can turn the ship around. Thank you both. From one football to another, we're going back to the NFL as the playoff push has officially begun. Some teams on the bubble are fighting for a spot in the postseason, but need to make a jump in a specific area to make it happen. Here at the desk with me to talk about what a few of these teams need to do to cement their name in the playoffs are Zack Jewel, Everest Leach, and Danny O'Toole. Now, Zach, who's your team? What do they need to do to make the leap?
Okay, so I got the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay.
I think the first thing they have to do is the drops need to be eliminated.
Okay.
Guys like BTJ, Travis Hunter.
The drops as a
BTJ fantasy owner, the drops need to stop.
The drops need to stop. Now, I think you have the number 2 overall pick in Travis Hunter. You got to get him involved more. You know? If you're going to use him on offense, use him on offense. If you're going to use him on defense, use him on defense.
He did it both at Colorado. Just let him do it.
Let him do it. You can't be limiting his snaps on both sides of the ball. I mean, you took him number 2 for a reason.
Right.
I think there's a lack of discipline, too. I think that's one of the main things. They're the 4th most penalized team in all of the NFL.
Yeah. Silly mistakes.
It's silly mistakes, and I think that they're in a good way going in the good direction because their schedule is pretty easy going up. They have the Raiders. They still have to play the Titans twice, Jets, Cardinals. I mean, they're definitely posed for a possible playoff run.
Yeah, I mean, they have impressive wins on their schedule. Obviously, beat the Chiefs. The quarterback play, I think, also has been a little inconsistent at times.
Yeah.
But I think again, like all of it comes down to feeding the guys that you need to feed. We're gonna step away from the Jags quickly. Everest, I know you wanna talk about your team a little bit and what they need to do.
Yeah. You mentioned inconsistent quarterback play. I'm talking about the Chicago Bears. And to be quite frank, Caleb's got to play better if they're going to make the playoffs. I mean, that is a stacked NFC that they're competing in. And if Caleb Williams would just be 75% of what we thought he'd be as a prospect, because I'm not going to go back and reverse time and say, I saw it coming. I thought he was going to be a stud. Like, I thought Caleb was going to be awesome. He hasn't been. He's still only completing 62% of his passes.
Right.
That's not good enough. Ben Johnson is visibly frustrated with him during these games.
Yeah.
I mean, you can literally just see it after he throws an interception, because Ben Johnson isn't used to this. And I think Caleb's running out of excuses. The O-line is better. They're running the ball fine, and they have a good defense. And so that's kind of the positives when you look at this Bears team. And not to say Caleb hasn't had good plays, good moments, good stretches.
Right.
We're seeing some of them here in the highlights, but we're also going to see some interceptions. So he's got to pick up the consistency.
I mean, granted, I think he's taken a clear step up from last season.
Yeah, for sure.
But the team around him is also better.
Yeah, you got to get your guys involved more. And Dunze, he had a great game last game, but besides that, first 3 weeks of the season he played well. He's been having some struggles. I mean, Caleb just needs to find the talented wide receivers that he has and get him the ball.
Yeah. You're not trying to ask Caleb Williams to play like how he did against the Cowboys. You just want some consistency from him.
Right.
You can't look that good against the Cowboys, who they haven't had the best defense, and then you go play the Saints, and he just plays worse.
Right, especially against a team like the Saints.
It's the Saints have won like one game
They're
this
bad.
year against the Giants.
Yeah, it's rough.
You got to be able to feed your playmakers. Swift has been playing great this year.
Yep.
Mononga is looking like a great RB2 for them. Odunze's
alone.
breaking out. DJ Moore, he isn't the number one that you traded for, but he's still playing pretty good.
Yeah. Now, granted, as much as I love Bears talk, we've got one more team, Danny. Who do you got? And what do they need to do?
I got what I think will end up being the NFC West champion, Seattle Seahawks.
Wow. The
Bold.
NFC West
That's bold.
champ.
That's really
So how
bold.
are they going to be the NFC West champs, Daniel?
The answer is simple. You keep feeding JSN.
Yep.
I like
He is
it.
on pace to break Calvin
Calvin
Johnson's
Johnson.
record.
Megatron.
man.
Yeah.
He's projected to get 1,989 yards. And I know we've mentioned that the last couple of years, and it's helping out with the expanded games. Because you were talking about Puka earlier this year.
Yeah.
It was Cooper Kupp a couple of seasons ago. But if we're just looking at these highlights, JSN is just carving up defensive backs
right off
at
the
all
jump.
stages of the game. It comes in the late game in the clutch. But the reason why he's been able to get all of these amazing passes is because Seattle has the best free agency signing over the last offseason in Sam Darnold.
Wow.
I mean, I like the Sam Darnold. I like the wide receiver take, all of that stuff, but their run game. I mean, that's the thing that is real.
It's still.
I will 100% agree with you on that.
3.7 yards per carry. You got to do better. I think they could win the NFC West. I don't hate that
It's
take from
competitive
you.
for sure.
They have a
shot.
They have the sixth toughest schedule remaining. They got 2 games against the Rams. They have a game against the 49ers, and they have a game against, I know you don't like to admit it, but the number 1 seed, Indianapolis Colts.
Listen, it's okay. We're going to move on, though. All right. Thank you. Heading down from the pros to college now, head coaches around the country have been on the hot seat as of late. And former Penn State head coach James Franklin is no stranger after being let go following the Nittany Lions' disappointing start to the year. Now, Everest Leach joins me again to go over the circumstances that led to James Franklin's firing and the coaching landscape around the NCAA. Everest?
Yeah, so let's start with James Franklin because that was kind of the first domino to fall.
Right.
He has been a more controversial figure as far as college football head coaches go throughout the years, but it has always been that he can't win matchup games, those top 10 games. That's kind of been the knock on him, but he wasn't fired for not being able to win those games. James Franklin got fired because he started losing games he shouldn't have. Losing to UCLA, who hadn't won a game to that point, then losing to Northwestern. That gets him fired. And so now we turn to what does Penn State do next? Because this is a team that has always been in kind of that second tier of college football.
Right,
They're
they've
winning
never-
10
they've
games,
never
they're winning
been
11
dominant.
games. No. And they got to the semifinal last year, and then the same Penn State things that we talk about kind of reared their ugly head. So they're looking for that new candidate that can take them over the top. I kind of see 3 routes there. They could go with the comfortable familiarity of that program and go get Manny Diaz back from Duke, who is now head coach there, if he wanted to do that. You can go for the hotshot young coordinator sort of archetype who hasn't gotten a head coaching chance yet. That would be Will Stein of Oregon, their passing game offensive coordinator, or somebody else. And I think there's been a lot of reports Penn State is maybe looking to take big swings at guys like Marcus Freeman from Notre Dame, I don't think Marcus Freeman would leave.
I think it's a step down.
It is a step down.
Notre Dame is the most prestigious football program of all time. Probably them and Alabama are the top 2. taking the job at Penn State would just be a prove it to yourself moment, but he hasn't even proved it to the Notre Dame fans yet.
Right. So I don't think he goes there. There's also Eli Drinkwitz at Mizzou who has had a lot of success. But yeah, it's a big firing, and it's not the only one.
Well, right, that's what I'm saying. Last night, Brian Kelly, we found out, was, I mean, what a ridiculous moment, too. Second largest buyout in college football history for a coach. What are the circumstances that led to that? Because I think it's a little bit different there.
I do think it's a little bit different. In that case, I feel like it is just they view that he's not maximizing that program's potential because I think the LSU job is a better job than Penn State.
I agree.
Like, hands down.
I agree.
So I think when you have the recruiting that they have, the resources that they have playing in the SEC, and just the talent they can acquire. I mean, the amount of 5 stars, the amount of 4 stars, they felt like Brian Kelly wasn't getting the job done. And I view this situation in college football right now as super interesting because I can't remember the last time we had this many high-profile jobs open this soon in the season. We haven't even talked about Billy Napier at Florida.
I mean, there's so many high-profile jobs open. There's so much to look at still. And we're not even talking about the players. We're just talking about the coaches. Coaches' silly season has never been more entertaining than it is right now. Listen, Everest, thank you. We're going to head to another quick commercial break. But when we come back, I'm going to give you another World Series update. Stay tuned.
The box score helped my career, I would say, just because I really learned how to write for myself. You know, that last week tonight monologue style really fleshed out how I felt about things and what my sensibilities were and really diving into a topic I care about, but also having fun. I saw a clip of an old monologue of mine where I chugged an entire bottle of Gatorade while I was doing the monologue, and it kind of made me learn on the fly.
When I arrive at my destination, I am gonna kill Bill.
What? Oh, okay, cutting. Sorry, can we get some of this?
Where in God's name is the gaffer's tape?
Hi, I'm Nate.
And I'm Casey, and we're the National Broadcasting Society.
Come out to some of our weekly workshops, or work on some of our sets.
Explore the bigger picture with NBS.
We'll see you there.
All right, let's get another take. Camera, sound.
Hi, I'm Mary Malloy, the host of Speechless, and you're watching the Emerson Channel.
How's it changed since I left? Production value has gone through the roof. Field segments, we didn't have field segments. We were just trying to get the show on air and doing studio stuff. My final season of the box score was, my final episode of the box score, the servers crashed. And we ended up just having the dress that we were thinking about publishing, and then that got corrupted too. So definitely production value has gone up. I'm sure you still run into problems in the studio.
Quick World Series update. Still scoreless, bottom of the second. Muncy up to bat right now. Pitched around Ohtani again. Those intentional walks that Rico was talking about earlier, well, they're coming back. We're going to keep you updated with any new developments there. Now, in Formula One news, the Drivers' Championship is coming down to the wire. With me to talk about some major developments are Cam Veal and Camila Mancur. In our new segment, Cam's called it? Cam's called it? Guys?
Thanks so much, Noah. And I think Cam's did call it. If you remember,
we did
in that last episode. We said that Max would pull a little bit closer, but the surprise twist was that Lando actually drove exceptionally well in Mexico, and now he's leading the championship just by 1 point, though. And Oscar has kind of been falling flat. I believe he hasn't had a podium in the last 4 races, which is kind of crazy from the guy who was leading the championship and we thought was going to be leading again after this race.
Well, I still think he has a chance. He just needs
most
to.
Definitely.
He's like, okay, I think a lot of it is also, it's like in part his fault, and at the same time, it's also McLaren's fault, because I think his car has been having a lot of difficulties. And
his pit stops have been slower also.
Exactly.
And McLaren is notoriously well known for having faster pit stops. Yeah. And I feel like the strategy's a bit off. I do think, like, I am a Lando Norris hater. but I do think that he drove really well in Mexico, and Mexico's a track where you have to be really quick.
Yeah, what was
And
it, like
it's
40 seconds?
He won by like 40 seconds, and it's one of those tracks where you have to have a lot of grip and have a lot of, and like the battles are a lot happen in the corners, and where Oscar didn't have a lot of speed was in the corners, and it was mostly in the straights, and I think that's where he kind of faltered a little bit. I think he needs to really pull it together. He's got to be really sharp. There's 4 races left, 2 sprints, and you have to maximize all your points because Lando has kind of showed that he's not going to back down. He's not a kicked puppy, you know.
And
he's
you
got
know
that
who's also
dog in
not
him.
gonna back down.
Yeah, the lion. Rawr! Like Max Verstappen comes roaring back. He had a little bit of an incident with Lewis Hamilton that reminded me of 2021. But
That penalty was my
God.
It was so bad. Literally, him and Charles also did it, and the only one, guess who got a penalty? Lewis Hamilton, because of course.
He's the GOAT, that's why.
Because he's the GOAT, and they don't want to see him get a podium this year.
And it's crazy. I think, oh my God, though, Max drove so well. And it's crazy because his car is doo-doo.
His car is so bad.
And this is really proving that he's the best driver on the grid. And like, I'm a big Lewis fan, and it kind of hurts me a little bit to say that, but he is the best driver on the grid, even when he doesn't have the best car.
Probably.
I would say
and
so.
it's also because that Ferrari is just...
The Ferrari's so bad. Oh
it's so bad. It's so bad. I mean, the fact that Charles held on for as long as he did.
That's crazy. And he was Lando's best teammate there. I think I think what could happen if Oscar really pulls it together is that him and Lando are going to have a clash in the next couple of races, probably in a sprint race, maybe even in a full race, and then Max is going to swoop in. And because the deficit is only 30 points, that's 1 victory and 1 sprint victory for Max.
Exactly.
If
It's
they don't
so
maximize
doable for
points,
him.
and it's so doable. I think this is one of the closer championship battles we've had 3 ways, but it's going to be great.
I agree. Another DNF from these two, and it's over. He can catch up. Back to you, Noah.
All right, thank you, Cam and Cam. Now, I gotta be honest here, this topic got pretty heated during our pitch meeting, and I'm sure today will be no different. The Rockets went all in this offseason, trading for Kevin Durant, but in a stacked Western Conference, what does it mean for KD and Houston if they can't win a championship? Joining me here are Danny O'Toole, Camila Mancur, and Zack Jewel. Danny, we're gonna start with you.
Listen, I know it's tough to judge 3 games, and the NBA season is very long. It's 82 games. So we do have a very small sample size to go off of, but the Rockets are 1-2 right now. And yeah, they have played some very, very good teams.
The Nets are not a good team.
1-2. We're talking about 1.
I'm talking about their losses.
There was
the
no
Thunder,
need for
the reigning champion
Hold on,
Thunders.
wait,
I wasn't finished.
There was no need for the
double overtime.
Whoa.
Also.
They've played a very good game against the Thunder, and then you lost to the Pistons, who were a playoff team this year and are probably going to make the second round, in my opinion. But anyways, outside of, and just looking out the Rockets as a team, I think their best player so far in these short 3 games has been Sengun.
Yeah,
he's averaging 25, 8, and 7 right now. He's looking like Diet Jokic.
Okay, but like, I see where you're going with this, but I think the broader point is what does it mean for the Rockets? Like, is it a failure if they don't win a championship? Because Kevin Durant is clearly, at least so far, he hasn't been the man in Houston. I mean, again, like you said, small sample size.
Let me frame. Very, very small sample size.
Let me frame this. Let me frame this. We don't need a sample size to look at this.
Okay.
When you trade for a future first ballot Hall of Famer, sign him to a 2-year, $90 million extension.
Okay.
You are going into a win now mode, especially coming off of the back that you were a 52-win team last year and you were the 2nd seed. So, in my opinion, based on all of that, if you don't make the championship, if you don't make the NBA Finals, it's looking at a little bit of a loss. You're committing so much into one player to try to put you over the top. And yes, Kevin Durant, if there is going to be anybody who you go out and get and you want to perform in the playoffs, it's Kevin Durant. He is such a clutch player, but this season so far, it's been a little tough. He had a rough game towards the end against the Thunder. He had that really critical missed free throw towards the end of the 4th quarter.
Right.
And he ended up
first game of the season.
in the first game. I know, but we're still talking about if we're talking about what we're looking at right now. He had the very controversial moment that we're looking at right now, where he thought they had a timeout, and if the refs actually called that correctly, that's a technical foul. That ends the game. And then right here, he ends up fouling Shea. He ends up fouling Shea. If there's anybody in the league who you don't want to put at the free throw line, it's Mr. Free Throw.
You're arguing that KD has lost a step. Zach is judging you from afar. to let Zach speak a little.
I'm feeling the heat on the side of my face right
I just
now.
want to talk about, you're saying it's failure if they don't make the championship. Can you remind me what they gave up to get Kevin Durant? Because if you don't remember, I can tell you. It's five second-round picks, 1 first-round pick, Jalen Green, who was clashing with Amen Thompson, okay? Let's just put that on the air, okay? And then Dylan Brooks, who had a very large contract. You got all of that. You gave away all of that for a future first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yes,
Right,
but Dylan Brooks,
Dylan
Brooks was the absolute face of that defense. He puts the dog into the Houston defense, and you take that dog out.
I'm going to agree with you because the problem is you gave up all of that.
Which isn't that much. Let me put that in
But the problem is you gave away your defense. You have all this offense. KD against the Pistons, 37 points. Şengün, 17. You still lost because you have no defense. You have nothing to help the offense. KD can put up all these points and you can still lose. That's the problem.
I want to frame this from the broader perspective, though. If the Rockets do not win a championship, is it a failure?
I don't think.
Is the KD era a failure?
Okay, I don't think it is, and the reason is because you still got so many young players on your team. You have Jabari Smith Jr., you have Reed Shepard, you have Amen Thompson, and you have those guys that are going to be able
But how wide is the window?
they're going to be able to learn under Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
They are
That's
not the
true.
they're not going to they are right now they are not the primary scorer on that team. It's Şengün and Kevin Durant. Being the secondary scorer on a team makes you a better player in the long run.
Zach, I want to ask you this then. So, if Kevin Durant is going to be the leader, then how long is it going to take for us to officially declare that the Kevin Durant era was a success or a failure? Are we going to have to wait till the end of Jabari Smith's career?
I mean,
to say that, like if we're talking about the young development, are we going to have to wait till Jabari Smith is on his like second or third contract to be like, wow, the Kevin Durant era was great?
I mean, I think you got to give it a little more than 2 years, which is his extension. I understand what you're saying. If they don't win a championship now, it's a failure. I see where you're at, okay? I think we got to give a little more leeway just because they only gave up 1 first-round pick, those 5 second-round picks. You got to understand, guys like Desmond Bane were going for so much more.
Yeah.
Like, Kevin Durant is a first-ballot Hall of Famer. If he doesn't win a chip right now, I don't think it's the end of the world for the Rockets.
I agree.
Okay.
I think that's true.
We've come to a general consensus. That was so nice. So much more civil than during
Better than pitch.
Listen, yeah, exactly. We're going to move on to some more baseball, though. This time, we're looking ahead. When all is said and done and the offseason arrives, some major names could be changing scenery. Rico, Brill, and Danny O'Toole join me to discuss some possible destinations for some of baseball's biggest stars. You'd like to go first?
Absolutely. I mean, there's a bunch of names that are at the top of the free agency list. We've discussed Pete Alonso's a big one. Schwarber from the Phillies, Kyle Tucker, not a free agent, but Tarek Skubal. He's on the last year of his contract, and he just got offered an insulting.
A big Scott Boras client again. We know how much
contract by the
we know how
Tigers.
much that a couple of guys on this list are Scott Boras clients, so we know how much money he's going to get. Also considering that he's probably going to get his second Cy Young in a row.
So we can talk about him being possibly traded because that's being talked about.
I feel like I'm in the middle of a baseball nerd sandwich. I'm loving it.
You better strap in.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
As a baseball fan, if Tarek Skubal doesn't get signed back to the Tigers, it is going to break my heart. It makes too much sense for the Tigers not to sign Skubal again.
Right.
And we've seen before, back when they were like very big World Series contenders back in 2013, they're not afraid to go up in payroll. They were 4th in payroll in 2013. So you got to just bite the bullet, give Skubal the blank check, and say, how much do you want? We want you.
For a team that's kind of in a bit of an identity crisis as the Tigers are, this is a defining moment for their franchise for the next 10 years. If they sign him, they are all in on this team. They're all in on the World Series. If they trade him, you're just another one of, one of the Pirates.
With how
one of
young
one
and
of those
promising
teams.
this core is, I think you have to.
I agree.
You have Jackson Jobe. Yeah, he's going to probably be out for a large part of next season, if not all. But you also have Max Clark coming up, who you spent a very high draft pick on. So I feel like if you don't capitalize on this, you're kind of throwing away a golden opportunity.
Right. Well, let's get to the actual free agents.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll start off with Pete Alonso.
Okay.
Now, he does have the nickname of the polar bear, and I know polar bears like some cold weather, so I would absolutely love to see Pete Alonso join your Boston Red Sox.
Not going to happen.
All right, I don't know who you're saying "your" to. They're not my Boston Red Sox. But I see what you're saying. I can see that for sure. I don't see that happening if they keep Bregman, though. I think it's one or the other.
It's definitely one or the other, but if John Henry, please, John Henry, if you can hear me, open the checkbook we need to spend on this
He's got
team.
bigger problems
is-
down. He's got bigger problems across the pond with Liverpool right now.
The Red Sox are in a similar situation to the Tigers in defining their identity. Last offseason was the first time in a while where they've really gone in, and Red Sox fans, I'm sure you're so happy
I was
about it.
absolutely stoked. So I would love to see them go up and get a big
statement.
signing like Alonso. And you would be giving up on Tristan Casas, but the last couple of seasons he's been very injury prone.
Right.
And
he's not Alonso.
He's a power bat.
He's not
He
Alonso.
doesn't really hit that.
And Alonso's a great fielder too, so there's that.
All right, we're gonna talk about another one.
Yeah.
I want to move away from Pete Alonso.
I'd like to go into Kyle Tucker.
Okay.
He's as valuable as it gets for an outfielder. The one knock on him is his postseason play hasn't been incredible. But yeah,
He does have a World Series on
I see him going to either the Giants or the Tigers. These are two teams, as I've been saying, the identity, they want to put that out there. I don't see him going to a real top contender. I think he's going to go to a smaller market. That's where he's kind of excelled.
I think it would just be absolutely crazy. And it would just further the argument that the Dodgers are ruining baseball.
I've heard it.
If they sign Kyle Tucker, that would be absolutely ridiculous. But I think
you could so see it happening, though.
That's just a problem. But I think a really fun team that Kyle Tucker could end up going to is the Blue Jays. I think that would be a great fit for them too. You have a lot of depth in outfield, so if you cut it, you can add that power bat, and he's a Gold Glover.
And I feel like that
when he is healthy, he
is a Gold
struggled.
Glover.
Listen, I love the baseball talk. I love the baseball talk from you two. We have to move on, but off camera, next episode. I fear that the conversation is going to
Listen, this is for fans whose teams have been eliminated. This is all we got.
This is our life.
This is our World Series now.
I almost brought the Yankees hat, but I had to hold off.
Yeah.
Listen, thank you guys very much. We're going to swing it to our correspondent, Everest Leach, at the Triple for the return of a fan favorite segment, Mount Everest. Our college football expert is going to be ranking Heisman favorites and who he thinks has the best shot at taking home the award up to this point. Everest.
Thank you so much, Noah. Welcome in to Heisman Mount Everest. As Noah said, we're going to take a look at some of the top contenders as this Heisman race starts to take shape, starting with a guy who I don't think is going to win it, but I wanted to shout out anyways, get a non-quarterback in there. That's Jeremiah Smith, the Ohio State wide receiver. I think he's arguably the best non-quarterback in the country, and this is a guy who might win back-to-back national championships. He's so good. Not going to win it, but if he were to win it, what would he need to do? Meteors would have to fall from the sky and eliminate the quarterback position entirely. But anyways, shout out Jeremiah Smith. We're going to move on to Diego Pavia, quarterback for Vanderbilt. This guy rocks. I mean, he's awesome. He's playing for Vanderbilt. It's an underdog story. I absolutely love it. He brings a rushing threat that some of these other quarterbacks don't have. And Vanderbilt hasn't finished a regular season above 500 in 12 years. He has them only one loss, ranked inside the top 10. It's ridiculous. What he needs to do, get Vanderbilt to the college football playoff. If that happens, I think he could be very well in the running for the Heisman Trophy. He's an awesome player, but I do think there are two other quarterbacks that just have better odds, and one of those is Ty Simpson from Alabama. He's been lights out since a Week 1 loss. He has 20 touchdowns to 1 interception, just played so efficiently, and I could very well see this being kind of an Aaron Rodgers MVP type season, later Aaron Rodgers MVP, where he just has such a high touchdown to interception ratio. He's so efficient. They look at it and they're like, he never turned the ball over. He scored a ton of touchdowns. His way to win it, just keep doing what he's doing and have big games against Oklahoma and Auburn. Then finally, we've got Fernando Mendoza. Simply put, the best quarterback in college football so far, 24 TDs to 3 interceptions. Only thing I'd look out for is that the end of his schedule is pretty easy. Maybe he loses some momentum because he's not in high-stakes games, but if he continues what he's doing, I think he's got it. That's it for Everest, Mount Everest of Heisman. We're going to go to commercial, but before that, we're going to hear a little bit more from Sam Benson-Smith.
Writing for yourself is advice that I would give to everybody on the box score, and really let your own personality come out. Not just in the monologue for the host, but if you're in a segment, roll in jokes, some of them, if seems to be a sports debate segment. I remember some of my best lines I had was when I showed up like season 1 or something like that. But yeah, I'm grateful for my time there. I had so much fun. And of course, because I have to mention it, it allowed me to win Emerson College's first ever Sports Broadcaster of the Year, Evie. Very proud of this. it's glued together because I've moved all over the country. So anyway, the box score, EIV, grateful. Keep on. Here's to another 10 years. Let's just keep it going. Anyway.
Maggie, did you print out the script yet?
No, that was your job.
Maggie, oh my God, I do it every week.
No,
I told you this
but-
is the one
but we
week I
talked
didn't
about
want
this.
responsibility.
Okay. I need to pick my wedgie.
Oh my God, look, they got us slushies. Freeze. Oh my God, we're here.
He's queer.
Now get used to it. Come on, give me my mic. Mic me. Hi, I'm Christian Mudrick.
And I'm Maggie Morlap.
And you're watching Real Reactions.
On the Emerson channel.
Hi, I'm Aaron Kinigsberg, host of EIV's The Dish. Tune in every Friday for your chance to see what kind of bow tie I pulled out of my closet today.
We got our final World Series update of the night, and it's 2-1 Blue Jays over the Dodgers. Ohtani gives up a monster slam to Vladdy Jr. finally showing up. This is what I'm talking about. Rico is like speaking things into existence tonight, talking about how he went cold. Well, that's how you bring it back. 2-1 Blue Jays. We're going to make sure that we can let you get back to it, but before you can get back to baseball, we have one more segment. We're going to bring it back from baseball and talk about the fiery El Clasico matchup between Real Madrid and Barcelona and what kind of impact it could have on the rest of the season for both clubs. With me at the desk are Camila Mancur and Cam Veal. Camila, break it down for us.
Thank you, Noah. So we saw what I thought should have ended as a 5-1, personally.
Wow.
Me and Cam talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
It should have been more goals for Real.
It was
100%.
terrible. Oh my goodness.
It was really bad for Barca. The only reason they got saved was because of Szczesny. I think Xavi's tactics for this game were very good. There was no central progression for Barca at all. They Real was blocking their usual system by pressing a lot. It was a very high block. They had no reference without Rafinha or Lewa. So it was basically just we pressed a lot. We didn't have as much possession as they did, but we managed to have possession in the right moments.
I'm
Good
noticing you're
counterattack.
saying we. Are you
We,
are
Real
you an undercover Real fan?
I am not an undercover. I am very much a loud and proud Real Madrid fan.
Let's not forget who knocked Real Madrid out of the Champions League last year.
How many champions, Cam?
Oh.
How many champions does Barca have?
Okay, well, you know who won a Champions League at Barcelona? Thierry Henry, okay, Mr. Arsenal. Well, that's Tony Adams. Anyway, but I am a niche Barcelona fan when Arsenal's not playing. I'll root for the Coolers. But that was a disgusting show from Barcelona. It made me a little bit sad because I feel like the only one who showed up was Pedri. And when you play the high, he's so good. And when you play the high block and then the high press, Bellingham was outstanding. And I don't really like him that much. So, and his passes were perfect. Mbappe could have had a hat trick, and he played incredible. And
how about the antics after the game between Vinny and Lamine Yamal?
Yeah, the fighting was crazy.
I
Oh
think
my
it's just
God.
kind of hypocritical how Yamin can say whatever he wants on air, and then he's like, no. Then I don't know who it was, but somebody came out in a press conference saying Carvajal and Vinny should not be saying what they're saying on air, and I'm like, you guys started first. You did this first. You went out, you ran your mouth, but you don't like it when people do it to you and when you lose.
Yeah, I feel because this is one of those rivalries that this is the football rivalry. I feel like this is the one we talk about the most. And then back in the day, I remember they would classily run their mouth. They would talk they would be like, oh, let's see Messi score as many goals as Ronaldo. And then he would, and then that would be the end of the day. But now I feel like it's a little bit more personal. It's a little more catty. It's giving diva.
The Real Housewives of Real Madrid.
And then Vinny afterwards, when he got subbed off in the 72nd minute, and he was just I'm never playing for this club again, and like I'm not gonna do this. And Xabi Alonso was so over, and I'm like, man, you gotta let Rodrigo play. It is crazy. And then Lamar was running his mouth before the game, which I think he shouldn't do. I remember, like, he's an 18-year-old kid, and why is there nobody stopping this kid from doing that? Like, he shouldn't be playing. He's still a little bit injured. He's in a very precarious public situation. I'm like, somebody's got to like step up and be on this team. Like, there's no leaders.
I think he doesn't have the right people around him.
No.
Definitely not. His dad, his girlfriend, his friends, like nobody is like,
but
nobody's like really teaching him how to actually handle this whole media coverage. And I think that he needs to solve it very quickly, or it could turn bad for him.
It could turn so bad for him. I think his career could get cut short. But I'm gonna say, here's my hot take. Okay. I think despite this loss, I still think Barca will win the league.
Wow.
No.
I think there's another El Clasico to be played, and we all know that Real Madrid love to lose to teams like Villarreal and Atletico Madrid.
But that's
and
because
things
they
like
start
that.
playing really well when they go against us. They play really bad against Barca, but they play well against us.
Maybe you guys should fix that, and you'll actually win the league.
I'll tell you something, Cam. The only reason we lost the La Liga last season was because of the Clásicos.
Yeah,
that was the
because
only
you lost
reason.
4 of them.
Okay, exactly.
You lost 4, and those are the ones who win the game.
But you're proving her point.
Exactly, because the fact that
they won. No, because Real Madrid won one of the Clásicos last year.
We didn't.
No? Or was
No,
it the Copa del Rey? No?
I don't think we won any. So the fact that you're saying that we exactly. So you're saying that if we win,
yourself into a corner.
Okay, but my thing is, I feel like Barcelona, like that's like right now they're one of those like power of friendship teams that I think they could pull it together, because you don't have Rafinha, and that's a huge part of
That's
it.
a huge loss.
Right? Like last year when they played each other in the Clásicos, I feel like it was mostly healthy on both sides. And if Barcelona have all their players in the next one and they're consistent and they don't lose anybody, I still think they could pull it together, because if you have a healthy El Clasico, I think Barcelona will win that next one.
I don't think so. I think
we're gonna see some hot take back.
I know these are gonna be great when we have to wind them back.
Exactly.
For one of you, it will be great. All right, listen. Thank you guys very much. Now, many of you may not know, but we do like to hang out outside of the studio, and last night was no exception. We thought it'd be nice to put together a little package of some of us watching the Game 3 of the World Series last night, but little did we know we'd be sitting through 18 innings of baseball, 6.5 hours. So here's us slowly losing our sanity on camera, including a fun cameo from our logistics producer, Bella Aresta. Take a look. But speaking of teams that are even bigger than the sport itself, why don't we just take a moment to appreciate the greatest baseball team, the New York Yankees? That's like, you got dive on that.
I hate them so much.
I don't know what's going on
away from the ball.
Yeah, bro, look at 8 balls. 0 balls lost. That's a catch. That's a catch. As a certified Blue Jays hater, we are on Dodgers pack watch. Let's go.
No.
You don't want to. Box score fam. It is the top of the 9th. Let's play some predictions on. I'm going to say we're going to extras. I think we're going to extras.
Ohtani homer. Ohtani homer.
You think Ohtani?
It's going to be an Ohtani third homer. He's going to walk it off.
And if he doesn't do it, it's Mookie.
They got it! Oh, he's out! He's out! Joey's out! Ooh, not staying for extras. Box score fam. Top of the 10th. 1 out. We could be here all night. He's out! No! Why? That's the end of the inning! We're going to 12. We're going to 12.
1 a.m.
Almost 1. Yeah, almost.
Tuesday.
Almost 1 a.m.
And this started on Monday. It's Tuesday.
Now it's Boxing Tuesday.
We are filming this today. Okay, Box score fans, we're down to 3 of us. Now in the top of the 13th. Box score fam, we're heading to inning number 14. Boo! Update. There's just the 2 of us.
It's only 2 left. because you know what time it is? I bet you can't even guess what time it is. It's 1:37 a.m.
It's 1:37 a.m. We're entering the 15th inning of baseball.
We're on to inning 16. Thoughts? Hey guys, inning 17.
That's 1-7. One inning away from having watched 2 full games of baseball in one game over 2 days. Heading to the 18th inning. Freddie Freeman just hit a solo home run in the bottom of the 18th inning in what is tied for the longest World Series game of all time against the Blue Jays. More than 9 scoreless innings in a row. And finally, Freddie Freeman sets us free. Freddie Freeman lets us go to bed. We'll see you in the next segment. Oh man, what a night. It was pretty crazy. Me and Bella ended up being the only two to survive the whole 18, and she wins some box score points for that. But we've reached our final segment of the night, and I assume it's going to be a fun one. Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs have started red hot, and our talent has been on notice. Well, some of them have. We've got a fair share of people on our team who think that the Spurs will barely finish above 500. So let's settle the debate civilly, hopefully. With me are Everest Leach, Zack Jewel, Jolm Adams, Cam Veal. Everest, as one of our resident San Antonio haters, please get us started. You and Charles Barkley both.
Don't lump me in with Chuck.
He hates them for different reasons, though.
Big old San Antonio women.
The big old women down in San Antonio.
All right. I got to let the audience in here because
that dirty water in Galveston.
It's true. In our pitch, I was hating on the Spurs. But I can't lie. I mean, they're 4-0.
You're backing down? Dude, I need you on my side here. I need you on my side.
They're 4-0, man.
I'm not backing down.
4
I'm
games
just
through.
giving them credit where credit is due. However, their schedule's been fairly easy. That Western Conference is stacked.
Yep.
And I do think there's a little bit too much uncertainty still outside
That's
of
ridiculous.
Wemby. Whether
That's ridiculous.
the defense or the shooting, they're young, they're inexperienced, and you could say, oh, the Thunder were young and inexperienced, and they just won the championship. Yeah, but before that, they were the 1 seed, had a great year, and then got dunked on by Luka in the second round.
Exactly.
So I don't think the Spurs are there.
Well, the
yet.
Thunder didn't have Victor Wembanyama.
Dude, yeah, like Wemby, it's his league. It's his league.
It's not his league yet. It's not his league yet. He's too young.
Whose league is it?
We break-
It's Vegas league who are both in that conference.
Thank you. It's Luka, Shea. We could put Ant in the situation. You could put some other guys in.
Yeah, you would say
Anthony Edwards.
We could put some other guys. Hey, okay. So hear me out, right? We're 4 games into the season. If we're 15 games into the season and he's still he's averaging, those 30 points a game, 14 rebounds, 10 blocks. Sure, you can tell. We're living in Victor Wembanyama's world, but we're only 4 games in. Okay, that's what I gotta say about that.
I mean, yeah, we can only be 4 games in, but like I said in pitch, I think the Spurs are going to be a 50-win team this season.
I think that's crazy.
They were almost a 40-win team season last year, and they were missing Wemby for half the season.
Right.
They look even better this year. Stephon Castle's been playing out of his
I
mind.
think Hakeem Olajuwon literally created a monster in Wembanyama.
Well, this is
Kevin Garnett and those monks.
Well, these highlights are when they didn't have Wemby and they had their biggest defeat of the season. So, when they have Wemby and he's at his peak, sacre bleu, y'all. He's he's up there. I mean, he's so good. He has crazy handles, and he's French. That's crazy.
And he's French.
What is it being French?
Rudy Gobert, French, goat,
That's what I'm saying. He's got that, bro. I'm telling you, he's at halftime. He's cutting up his little baguette. He's putting his cheese on his goûter. He's coming back out there. I mean, first game of the season, he had 40 points. He's gonna keep averaging higher and higher point totals. And just because the rest of the team might not be pulling his weight,
By the way,
I think it's sustainable.
I
don't think so. I don't think. Yeah,
For
they
now,
are.
4 games in. When we're in the playoffs, hey, when we're in the playoffs,
But Wemby's the rock. Wemby's the rock.
when Wemby's cutting up his baguette, putting cheese on it, and Devin Vassell is sitting there 0 for 10 from the 3-point line.
He takes a bite. He gets the power.
Vassell has been efficient this
For
season
now,
so
4
far.
games into the
I
season.
don't know what we're even talking about anymore. Baguettes or basketball.
Dude, it's the power. It's the power. You gotta trust. I'm
The
thinking
power.
Wemby is the rock of the team. Okay, he's the anchor, right? You build the rest of the vessel around Vessel, right? Okay.
There she go. Good one.
Harbor. Okay, you park it in the
She's
harbor.
cooking on this?
And then what do you do? What's by the harbor? The castle. Okay. I'm telling you, the rest of the team might not be as sustainable as like Wembanyama's production, but I don't know if they're going to be as high as a 50-win team. I'm thinking 45 is pretty good. They're going to make the playoffs. The West is stacked.
Easily going to be. They're going to be like a
The West is way too stacked.
The West is stacked. The Thunder are going to be the one seed.
I don't think they're going to be. They're going to be.
Okay, listen. This is exactly what I wanted. This is exactly what I wanted this segment to be: quick and chaotic. To your French point before we end this show.
Oui.
Oui, indeed. Did you see the nickname that they gave Wembanyama and Luke Cornett? They're calling them French vanilla.
Pretty good.
Man.
That's not ridiculous, and that's not ridiculous to say.
They should take up some of your like rapping.
It's
Slam
spoken,
poetry.
It's
Slam
spoken
poetry.
word poetry.
Slam poetry.
Spoken word.
All right, listen. That is all we have for you tonight. Thank you for tuning in to episode 2 of The Box Score. Now, before I let you go, I do want to talk about something very quickly. On Sunday, my favorite team, the New York Jets, announced that their former center and member of the Ring of Honor, Nick Mangold, had passed away at the age of 41. Only 2 weeks ago, Mangold had announced that he was diagnosed with a kidney disease and was searching for a donor with type O blood. Nick Mangold was one of my favorite players growing up and remained one of my favorite players after his retirement. That same Sunday, the Jets played a game against the Cincinnati Bengals. Heading into the fourth quarter, the Jets faced a 15-point deficit, and for a winless team, there was little hope. Nonetheless, against all the odds, the Jets mounted an incredible comeback, beating the Bengals and tallying their first win of the season. After the game, few Jets beat writers and fans alike came up with a perfect way to remember the game, dubbing it the Mangold Miracle. So, to sports fans, Jets fans, and Box Score fans, just remember that number 74, the future Hall of Famer, will always be immortalized. Nick Mangold, that's for you. I'm your host, Noah Berkowitz. Good night.